Sometimes the biggest political shifts don't start with a scandal. They don't begin with a declaration at the United Nations or a primetime TV debate. They don't roar into history with a military parade or a breaking news headline flashing across cable networks. Sometimes they begin with a whisper, a casual post, a poll, a single question posed in the digital void. And that question, barely 24 hours later, reshapes the political landscape of the most powerful country on earth. It didn't come from Washington. It didn't come from a seasoned senator. It didn't even come from a political party. It came from the one person who, until now, had danced around the fringes of American politics like a shadow, never officially stepping in, but always pulling strings from just outside the curtain. That person is Elon Musk. And if you think you know what's coming next, if you think this is just another billionaire throwing a tantrum at the system, then you're not even close to understanding what just happened. Because this is no vanity project. This is a move with calculation, with backing, with reach. This is the beginning of something that could fracture the two-party system, ignite a new ideological firestorm, and shift the balance of power in Washington, not in 2028, but right now. Before we dive deeper into the strange, ambitious, and possibly world-shaking formation of the America Party, take a second, seriously, subscribe to this channel if you want to follow the behind-the-scenes of the most unpredictable political storm of our time. Because what you're about to hear isn't just news, it's a warning, and it's a map of the future. It all started on July 4th. Yes, that July 4th. The most symbolically charged day in American political mythology. While fireworks exploded across the skies and presidents posed with flags, Elon Musk dropped a digital bombshell. No, it wasn't a press release. It wasn't even a video. It was a poll. Just one question to his over 180 million followers on X, formerly Twitter. The question, should I create a new political party? Within hours, it wasn't just a poll anymore. It was a movement. 65% of respondents clicked yes. But it wasn't the percentage that shook insiders. It was the scale. Over 10 million interactions. The political class watched in silence. But Musk, he didn't wait for permission. By July 5th, he made it official. The America Party is born, he posted. And then he added something even more cryptic. This party is for the 80% in the middle. Sounds harmless? Think again. What followed next was a stream of cryptic posts, statements, and signals that defied traditional left-right alignment. Musk wasn't talking about running for office. He wasn't launching a full congressional campaign. He was aiming for something far more dangerous. Kingmaker status. Targeting just a few key seats in Congress to gain disproportionate leverage over U.S. policy. Imagine a party with only 8 or 10 seats, but holding the balance of power in a gridlocked house. That's not fringe, that's control. But this wasn't just a social media stunt. Behind the scenes, his teams were already researching ballot access laws in all 50 states. Legal teams were quietly filing inquiries, consultants, yes, even former Democratic and Republican strategists were being contacted. The machine had begun to move. And this is where things get strange, because officially no one knew about it. No PACs were registered, no super PACs, no media blitz, no flashy campaign, just silence. Intentional, icy silence, like the eye of a political hurricane, until suddenly, whispers started surfacing in Washington. Staffers in California reported seeing operatives asking about signature requirements for independent parties. Rumors circled in New York about legal challenges to a decades-old law that bars the use of the word America in a party name. Yes, that's real. In several states, the name America Party is actually banned. Coincidence or prelude to litigation? Who is funding this? The answer is obvious. Elon Musk is one of the few people on Earth who can bankroll a national political movement out of pocket. But the real question is, what does he want? Musk has always been a political enigma. One day he's tweeting about freedom of speech. The next, he's opposing vaccine mandates. One day he's criticizing the woke left, the next he's dismantling legacy media narratives, but now, for the first time, he's building infrastructure, a real-world party, a platform, a message, and the message is hazy, on purpose. He says it's not left or right. He says it's about common sense. He says the party will stand for debt reduction, technological sovereignty, and freedom of thought. But what does that mean in practice? No one knows. That's the terrifying brilliance of it. Everyone sees in the America Party what they want to see. It's a mirror, a trap, a test. Pause. Really think about this. Because if you're watching this and you're still thinking this is just another celebrity vanity run, you're already behind. This isn't Kanye. This isn't a PAC. This is a new structure designed not to win the presidency, but to control those who do. And we haven't even gotten to the international implications. How will this affect U.S. foreign policy? What happens when the man who controls the world's largest satellite network, military AI contracts, neural implants, and electric vehicle markets also controls a swing bloc in Congress? Can America remain a democracy when a single man controls communications, space infrastructure, and legislation? If that question gives you chills, good, because this is where it gets darker. Insiders from the Pentagon have already raised quiet concerns. Diplomats in Europe are watching with unease. Mark Cuban, fellow billionaire, recently said that Musk's move was strategically brilliant. He wasn't praising the ideology, he was warning the system. But Washington? Still silent. The GOP is divided. Some fear Musk will steal the youth vote. Others think he's a Trojan horse. The Democrats. They don't know whether to court him or crush him. And Joe Biden? Not a word. So now, let me ask you directly, do you think Musk is serious? Or is this all a long game? Could the America Party be a stalking horse for a presidential run, or worse? Is it a platform to control both parties from the shadows? If you're still with us, now is the time. Hit that like button, subscribe, and follow us, because what's coming next might just be the most chaotic election cycle in American history. We've seen disruption in tech, we've seen it in finance, but we've never seen it in the heart of democracy. Until now. Remember, it didn't start with a rally, it didn't start with a candidate, it didn't even start with a cause, it started with a tweet. But here's where everything gets even more unpredictable. Because what happens when a political party isn't built for tradition, but for disruption? Not designed to win over the old base, but to fracture it. Not to unify the electorate, but to destabilize the system just enough to make itself the deciding voice in every legislative deadlock, every committee vote, every future presidential agenda. This is the chilling genius behind what's unfolding now. Elon Musk isn't trying to be another candidate in the crowd. He's trying to make sure every candidate must come through him. This is no longer a question of if Musk enters politics. He already has. And the America Party might not be a platform for him. It might be a weapon to force both parties to bend. Quietly, reluctantly, permanently. Do you realize what it means if this works? A man with no party allegiance, no loyalty to traditional ideology, no limits on wealth, and near total control of the digital narrative could effectively hold Congress hostage. A man who owns the launch pads of your satellites, the servers of your discourse, the operating systems of your cars, and the headlines of your news feeds, now potentially owning the future of your vote. And you thought 2016 was chaotic? Imagine 2026 when every close Senate race depends on a bloc that doesn't declare its goals until after the election. Imagine 2028 when both major parties are forced to write their platforms based on what one man in Texas tweets at midnight. Can a democracy survive a figure who doesn't need votes to hold power? Who needs no donors, no advisors, no consultants, and no filters? Or is this a new model of governance? One where money, technology, and influence merge into something unrecognizable? We've never seen a force like this. Not in America. Not in modern times. Not with this scale of ambition, precision, and total disregard for political etiquette, and the silence from Washington, deafening. because they don't know how to fight it. You can't outspend him. You can't out-tweet him. You can't blacklist him when he controls the blacklist. He can amplify narratives, crush dissent, launch investigations, post video footage, leak data, all without leaving his office. And that's just what you see on the surface. What happens when the America Party runs its first trial campaign, not to win, but to test the system, to expose weaknesses, to learn how votes shift with a single algorithmic push? What if 2026 is just the dress rehearsal? What if 2030 is the real show? This isn't just a third party, it's a third dimension of political warfare. Traditional politics relies on donors, press coverage, campaign stops. This relies on networks, on engagement algorithms, on behavioral data gathered over decades, on emotional leverage, on public fatigue with the status quo. Musk doesn't need a 51% majority. He needs 3 or 4 swing seats, 1 statewide upset, and 10 million loyal users who will vote how the notification tells them. That's not a theory. That's a scenario actively unfolding while you watch this video. Still think this is hype? Still think this ends in a shrug and a meme? Then why are GOP strategists already warning about ballot erosion? Why are Democratic campaign heads holding quiet meetings to understand how to neutralize influencer-led movements? Why are global financial markets tracking Musk's political statements as risk indicators for legislative gridlock? Because they know what this is. It's not the rise of a third party. It's the arrival of a meta party. A party that isn't built on votes, but on leverage. And leverage, real leverage, isn't noisy. It whispers, it smiles, it pretends to be reasonable, until the moment you realize it's already too late. That's the moment we're approaching, slowly, quietly, relentlessly. And you're not just watching this happen, you're inside it. Every share, every comment, every click shapes how the machine moves. So don't just sit back. Be part of the conversation. Comment below. Do you think the America Party is real power, or just a distraction? Do you believe Musk wants to reform the system, or rewire it completely? And most importantly, subscribe right now, because what's coming next will shake the pillars of every political prediction you've heard in the last decade. Remember, politics used to be about speeches. Now it's about platforms. Campaigns used to be run on TV. Now they're run on data. And parties used to be built in back rooms. Now they're built in code. So when the next vote comes and the America Party appears on your ballot, don't ask, where did this come from? Ask instead, how long have they been planning this? Because maybe, just maybe, this didn't start in July 2025. Maybe this has been coming for years. Maybe the system didn't see it because it didn't want to. Or maybe the system was already part of it. Like, subscribe, stay awake. The next chapter isn't written yet, but the pen is no longer in Washington's hands. And if you're still watching, you already know whose hands it is in.